right, let's get this party started. Who's ready? All right. All right. So, welcome. My name is Nikki, if you don't know me. I am a life coach and co owner of Joy at Work, where we coach professionals. So, this is how today's going to work. I am going to teach for the first 10 minutes. I'll be asking you for some participation to make sure everyone's still awake. And then I'm going to plug a thought into a model to solidify the concept. That will take about 10, 15 minutes max as well. And then we're going to open the floor up for questions and coaching. So type in the chat box if you have any questions. Raise your hand. Oh, you're welcome, Garrett. Raise your hand if you have, if you want to get called on later for coaching, and I can bring you on here. And just type in the chat box if you have any questions. Feel free to just keep going in there, and I will be checking that as we go. All right. So today's topic is thoughts. And I wanted to start here because our thoughts are everything, hence the title of this class. So there is not a single successful person in this world who repeatedly told themselves that they couldn't do it when they were faced with challenges. Instead, they probably told themselves something like, this is worth it, or I can do it, or I'm going to keep trying. Now, as benign as those sentences can sound, those are powerful thoughts. Those thoughts create a feeling, right? Usually a feeling of like motivation or some sort of like empowerment. So that person can keep moving forward. They can keep trying. They can keep going towards their goals and then eventually become this successful person that we see, right? So today I want to talk about the power of our thoughts because this is a cornerstone of all the work that we'll be doing together. It's just going to be life-changing, I promise you. So like I said, our thoughts are everything. Your current thoughts create your current life or your current results. So I'm going to explain that, but excuse me, let me just back up and start by defining what a thought is. Now, thoughts are sentences in our head about the circumstances or the world around us. Now, believe it or not, we're in control of our thoughts. We get to choose what we want to think about the things happening around us, about the circumstances happening around us. Is that like, what? Isn't that amazing news? I never knew this before. And knowing this has opened up my world. It has been life-changing news for me. So I'm going to let you sit on that for a second. We get to choose what we want to think about the things happening around us. Just breathe that in. I have some more amazing news. Our thoughts also create our emotions. So that means we can feel any way that we want, any way, if we choose a thought that will get us there. So negative thoughts create negative emotions. Positive thoughts create positive emotions. Are we all on the same page here? So, for example, if I was to think about my class today, and if I was to think, no one is interested in what I have to teach today, that's probably going to give me a feeling of defeated. Does that sound about right? If I'm like, no one cares what I have to say, I'm probably going to feel defeated. On the other hand, I can still think about this class, but I can think, I am benefiting from this, no matter what. And that thought creates the feeling of empowered. I'm like, yeah. And I see all the ways that I'm benefiting from this class no matter what, right? I get to teach, I get to practice, I get to talk in front of this webcam, I get to do all the things, right? Now, this simple concept shows you that we're in control of how we feel. We control our emotions with our thoughts. So who wants to give this idea a try? I'm going to call on you guys to help me out here, to type into the chat box an emotion that you want to feel. I want you to give me just one word emotion, like motivated or successful. I'm going to pull up my my little feeling wheel here because I love it. If you need some prompts on what to feel, what you would want to feel. So an emotion that you want to feel. Excited, content, confident. Yes, I love these. Proud. Yes. Awesome. Okay. Surprised. Yes. Okay. So surprised. And then you gave me a thought with it too. Garrett said surprise as it creates new opportunities. Right. So let's just stick with, let's go with, I like excited. I want to go to excited because I feel like that's such a fun one. So if we're to create the feeling of excited, this is a feeling. So we know we need to have a thought to get us here, right? So can you guys type into the chat box? Oh, joy, I love that one. If we wanted to feel excited, we want to pick one sentence, right? One phrase or thought that's going to get us to feel excited. You guys want to type that into the chat box? What thought gets you to feel excited? It's Friday. I love it. This training will help me grow. Yes, I love it. I have a romantic getaway this weekend. Yay. That's a new idea. Perfect. An upcoming trip or vacation. Yes. Yes. All things like that, right? All those fun things get us excited. Now I want to go to the opposite of that. Let's go to the negative side for a moment, just to kind of play. So what's the opposite of excited? I need my feeling wheel for this one. Really. Yeah. Let down? Any ideas? Depressed, indifferent, bored. Yes. All right. Thank you guys. I needed that little push. Bored. Let's go to bored. Okay. So when we're bored, what thought would give you the feeling of bored? Something monotonous. I have to do what I do every day. Same shit, different day. I've heard it all before. Yes. Yeah, we're like boring. So the point of this, going to the same lame job. Yes. So the point of this little exercise is to show you that we can create our emotions with our thoughts, right? We went from excited to bored in like a minute. So that's some pretty powerful stuff, right? All right, can everyone see this? Is everyone with me here? I have to do that again. Yes. Oh gosh, the monotony, right? All right. If everyone's good, I'm going to keep going. Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about beliefs. Now, a belief is a thought that we've repeated over and over again, or we've held onto it for long enough that it feels like a fact. But really, it's just a thought that has stuck around and we've just become really well versed in it. So since beliefs are thoughts, we know that they're optional, right? Because thoughts are optional. We get to choose. But sometimes we get a little stuck in our drama and we don't see that. We don't see that beliefs are thoughts and that they're optional, right? We're kind of stuck in that idea that they're facts. So I wanted to give you a little example of when a belief feels like a fact. I want to paint a little picture for you by telling you a story. Now, this is a made up story, everyone, so just deal with me. But here we go. All right. My new boss is the worst. She doesn't listen at all. She never tells us anything positive. She only focuses on what we're doing wrong. Her meetings are so worthless. It's such a waste of time. She even had the gall to tell me this isn't your best work on my latest project. Ugh, I'm so sick of working here. That's my little story for you. I think we can all relate in some way, right? So my belief in this scenario is she shouldn't talk to me like that. How dare her have the gall to tell me this isn't my best work, right? I probably have a lot of other thoughts in there, but let's just stick with this one. Now, if I think back to why I have this belief, it's probably because I've painted this negative picture of her for quite some time, right? It sounds like my story about her is pretty well versed. She's just, oh, she's the worst. But we want to explore this thought and see what it's creating for me. So we're going to break it down into a tool called the model. So if you've been working with us, you're familiar with this tool. If you haven't been working with us and you're just joining us for this class, it's no problem. I'm going to be explaining it as we work through it. So just feel free, again, type in any questions. But the point of plugging this thought into this model is to give us visibility. We're going to break our story down into tangible little pieces so we can really see what it's creating for us. So to start, we want to look at our story. And our stories are usually just a bunch of thoughts with some facts scattered throughout. And we're going to pull out the facts or the circumstances. So that's what's going to go here. This is the circumstance line or the C line. So we're going to pull out facts from our story. And I'm just going to pull out a fact that created this thought. And the reason we want to pull out our facts is because we want to see what is a thought and what is a fact. We really want to separate those two. Because remember, a lot of the times our beliefs feel like facts. So let's just say the circumstance in this case is my boss said, this isn't your best work. And when I think of that circumstance, I think she shouldn't talk to me like that. Now, we know that when we have a thought or a belief, it creates a feeling for us, right? So right now, when I think this thought, this is the T line, the thought line, she shouldn't talk to me like that, that creates a feeling. And that's this is the feeling line. So the feeling that I feel when I think that is hostility, right? I become hostile. I become a little bit defensive probably, right? I'm like, oh, how dare her tell me I could do better. So when you feel an emotion, you act a certain way. You show up a certain way. So this is the action line. This is what we do or we don't do when we feel hostile. So when I feel hostile, because I'm thinking she shouldn't talk to me like that, then I'm going to say that I'm probably going to talk about how terrible she is, right? I'm probably going to plead my case to everyone. Can you believe she said that to me? She's the worst. So I'm probably going to talk badly to her. I'm probably going to avoid her, right? Because I'm very hostile. And when we have actions, when we have a feeling, it creates an action. Like I said, what we do or we don't do. So we often stop doing things when we feel a certain way. So I'm probably going to stop listening, start being present, like stop really participating with her. So I'm just going to put stop participating. It kind of is all here. I'm probably going to somehow separate myself from her, right? Withdraw a bit. Now, the result this is going to create for me, so this is the R line, the result line, is I'm really acting just as terrible, probably actually worse, really, right? I'm talking about how terrible she is. I'm telling everyone that will listen. I mean, at least she had she had the gumption, I guess, to tell me to my face, right? Because she probably, well, she's my boss. She wants to give me feedback, right? So the result that I'm creating for myself is that I am just as terrible. Now, we might not get there when we first start doing this work. We might not see that I am being just as terrible. I apologize for my handwriting, everybody. But this is kind of the work that we would be doing together, right? We can see that this thought creates this result of me being just as terrible. Now, I'm not feeling hostile because she said these words, I'm feeling hostile because I'm thinking she shouldn't talk to me like that. And I'm doing these things. I'm talking badly about her. I'm avoiding her, and I should probably stop participating in meetings and even listening to her, not because of what she said, but because I'm thinking she shouldn't talk to me like that, and because I'm feeling hostile. And then I'm getting this result of being just as terrible because I'm doing all of these things because I'm feeling hostile, because I'm thinking this thought. Is everyone with me? I wish there was like a high five you guys could give me. Just a thumbs up or anything in the chat box if you want me to slow down. Perfect. Great. All right, I'm going to keep going then. Okay, so what if I decided to let go of that belief? What if I decided to not make what my boss said mean anything about me? What if I decided to just look at what she gave me, what she said, as information? I'm going to have a different feeling, right? I'm going to have different actions because I'm feeling a different way. I'm going to have a different results. So, same circumstance, right? My boss still said these words. But what if I choose to think, again, I'm choosing to think, she's just giving me information. Now, when I think that thought, I instantly feel like at peace. It's like I'm not on the defense anymore, like, right? I'm not going into war. It's like I'm like, oh, she's just giving me information. She's just doing her job. So, let's just say, let's go to this place where I feel peaceful. So when I feel peaceful, I'm going to show up a different way, right? I'm going to have different actions than when I felt hostile. I'm probably going to look at my project with new eyes, right? Maybe look at my job with new eyes. I'm probably going to respect my boss, right? Because she kind of gave me this fantastic nugget of information, right? Like, hey, you could do better. I'm probably going to respect her position as my boss. I might stop fighting her on everything. I might be present for her meetings, right? And actually gain some insight from her meetings. And the result that I'm going to get is I'm probably going to deliver an even better project. And really, I'm probably going to get even better at my job because I'm not making it mean anything about me, right? So I'm probably going to have a better project. And let's just say, I'm better at my job. Some serious shorthand here, but you guys get the picture. All right, how's everyone doing? Is everyone with me here? So the title of this class is Thoughts Are Everything, because they are, right? So if we're going to go back to this prior model, you can see here that by thinking this thought, she shouldn't talk to me like that, I feel hostile. And when I'm feeling hostile, I'm really the only one feeling that negativity. She might see that I'm hostile, right? But she's probably not the one like living in that place of hostility. So by changing your thoughts, right? Changing your thoughts to, oh, it's just information. I get to feel peaceful instead. And that is a game changer because I get to feel the peace and I get to show up in such a different way and create such a different result for myself. So by changing your thought, because you control them, you get to feel a different way, any way that you want to create different results for yourself. You are in charge. So fun to know, right? So, any questions? Type them into the chat box. Ooh, yes. Yes. Negative emotions only torture me. That is right. Yes. We're the best at beating ourselves up, right? Yeah. So just think about that too. It's like, what am I really doing for myself when I am feeling this negative emotion? And not that feeling negative emotions is bad, right? I mean, it's part of life, 50-50. 50% is negative, 50% is positive. But it's like, do we want to live there? Do we want to live in that place? Because ultimately it's going to create some specific results for us. Does anyone want to come on and get coached or have questions that they want to come on? That sounds like it takes practice. Yes, it definitely does. It's a lot of practice. So practicing the thought that you like and constantly feeling that emotion, that's something that I definitely have had to do. Definitely a lot of practice. It's not overnight, it depends on how ingrained that belief is too, right? Like when you've been thinking something for a really long time, then it's gonna stick around. It's stuck around for a long time. It's gonna take a little bit more work, a little bit more time to like tear that apart, remove that from yourself. Does anyone want to come on for coaching? So what if she really is rude? I don't want to feel good about her treatment. Yeah, so you can definitely, if she was rude, I mean, obviously it's your thought about it, right? So we can think anything that we want, but something that you can do is it can be okay to feel hostile, right? It can be okay to feel frustrated or irritated. But it's when you stay in that place, again, you're the one feeling the hostility or the negativity. So it's like, is that what you want for yourself? And something that kind of opens up the world for me is, what are they doing? Like, why did they do that? Maybe it had nothing to do with me, right? Maybe she was just having a really terrible day. Like, we don't know what's happening in people's lives. And it's kind of allowing that piece of it to come into play too. It's like when we can drop the hostility, maybe we can come into even curious, right? Or peace, then we can really open the doors for possibilities for that person with us. It's like we're not on the defense. It's like we're open to, oh, maybe they had a really terrible day. Maybe something happened to them. Who knows? Obviously, she might have acted in this way that you don't love, right? She might have been rude, but it's like, okay, she was rude. But it's like when we make it mean something about us, like we've done something wrong and how dare them. It's like when we go on that defense, we instantly go to war, right? So even when we're faced with hostility, we can still choose how we feel. So are you saying that if that person is hostile, we can still choose how we feel? Yes. Okay. Yeah, so let's say that my boss was rude to me and she was hostile. Yeah, I mean, I can look at that and make it mean something about me, right? I could be like, "Oh, how rude of her to talk to me like that." I could definitely do that, right? And I can kind of process that and go through all the emotions that goes with that, and that's okay. It's okay to feel negative, but it's kind of looking at the big picture. So I love to ask myself, what would love do? And that's like such a simple but powerful thing for me, because if I was to choose love or openness, right, or any sort of positivity about this person, it kind of like opens the doors to, maybe she's having a terrible day. She was hostile to me, but it probably has nothing to do with me. I didn't love how she was talking to me. But again, if you're going to stay in that place of negativity, it's going to be you feeling that hostility. When she's hostile and then you're hostile and everyone's hostile, it's like this toxic work environment, right? Any other questions? Does anyone have any thoughts on this? I'm just interested what you guys think. I find it's easier to take, I'm just going to read this. I find it's easier to take emotion, especially negative emotion, out of work, but less at home or outside of work. However, those events sometimes impact my ability to react more calmly during work. So are you saying, Garrett, I find it's easier. So if you're kind of ignoring your emotions at work, kind of ignoring that negativity.
Yeah,
Oh, thank you.
yeah, it might be easier just
Way
to
easier.
describe. So if if you go to work in a bad mood, and
Mhm.
it could be unrelated to work whatsoever, like I don't know, like a month ago, I had some really bad back issues, for example.
Okay.
Knowing that and knowing that your reaction is going to change a little bit because you're already in that mindset, regardless of what happens at work. It kind of it's easier to trigger you into a negative thought, which leads to a negative emotion, which leads to possibly negative action.
Right.
So, I mean, obviously, something like meditation is a good way to kind of zero that out. So you start at work with a fresh slate, but that doesn't always work. So I'm curious on your tactics or methods to, change the direction of your thoughts in that particular instant.
Yeah. So, if you're in physical pain, then that's one thing, right? So if you're in physical pain, it's probably a lot of negative emotions going on with that, right? Um, so and it obviously physical pain is the circumstance, right? And you can think what you want. We're not going to be like, oh, this is great that I'm in physical pain, right? But it's a step that I would definitely recommend is just allowing the negativity for yourself. A lot of the times when something negative happens to us or anything, then we want to push it away. We want to get back to feeling better because we think that we're supposed to be happy, right? We think that we're supposed to be all in this positive thing, and even if my back hurts, like life is still perfect, right? It's like we all think that we're supposed to be there, but we all know that that's not possible, and that's just not reality. So it's like allowing the negativity to be there, like kind of carrying it around with you and not like living in that place, but it's like it's okay that you're here. So we teach this process called processing emotions. It's like welcoming the negative emotion in, letting it be there, accepting it versus fighting it, right? Versus pushing it away.
More of an observing mode, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. So observing it, knowing that it's there, welcoming it in, and then that just kind of lets you be okay with it. It's like you kind of stop fighting it, and then you can just be with the emotion, the negative emotion, and then it kind of allows you to move forward, right? To maybe be at work a little bit more present, right? Because you've accepted that that's how it's going to be. And I mean that acceptance might also allow you to say, "Hey guys, my back is killing me today, just a heads up, or
Yeah.
it might allow you to have some compassion for yourself and for everyone around you to kind of show up how you want to feel or how you want to show up. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
No, it does. I found communicating it definitely helps.
Yeah. So it's like
It helps other people understand the situation a little better, and it gives them a
definitely
layer of a different narrative than would have gone, than
right.
would have thought before.
Yeah, so we found that when you push that negative emotion away and then you're not actually allowing it to be there, then you act out, right? Let's say that your back is killing you and like you're like, oh gosh, and you're short with everybody, then you're going to add on a layer of guilt, right? Then there's probably different emotions that you're going to be piling onto yourself because you acted this certain way.
Yeah, one of the other teachings I've seen in the past, just from various influencers on similar topics, they've described giving them that information in an empowering way. So instead of saying, "I'm sorry that I'm like this," you say, "Thank you for being patient with me while I work through, something that's going on outside of work." That
Right.
way, they, experience a positive emotion, and you experience a positive emotion. You both leave that situation in a better state.
Right. And that also kind of puts you in like this empowered state too, right? Like you're not really the victim at that point, right? Because you're like, I'm
Right.
sorry that I'm acting like this. It's like, hey, this is what's happening. And it's kind of like making that circumstance like very okay, right? My back is blown out right now. This is where we're
Yeah.
at. Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
I
Thanks.
love that. Thank you. Um, Caitlin, did you want to pop on?
Yeah, I was just going
Yeah.
to say, so I thought I read Garrett's comment as it's easier. Well, for me, it's easier to remove emotion or not remove emotion, but just react in more of a less negative or emotionally charged way at work.
Oh,
Even
okay.
despite like eh, high emotionally or high emotions in work, like in the hospital there's definitely raging emotions, but
Mhm.
I feel like for me I'm very versed and easily able to like just like, let it roll off my back, understand what's going on with them. That's them. That's not me. I'm very like, as a nurse, I feel like you have to do that. But at home is where I feel like I'm like, anything my husband, not anything, but like, I feel like some things that my husband says, I'm like, I just take it like totally way out in left field and like run with it, or just try to like invent something in my head that he's in, just read between the lines or something. I don't know. I feel like it's easier for me to like remove the emotion at work, but then at home, and it's probably because I mean, maybe, but I don't know, just more emotions involved in my home life, with my husband. Of course, I care what he thinks about me. I care how he views me. I care all these things. And it's like me inside my own head. Whereas at work, I'm like, I'm confident I'm doing a good job. I know I'm doing, like practicing safely. I know I'm doing what my patients need, but, so.
Right. You kind of go into like that work mode, right? Like you can separate.
I'm confident in my work. And then I feel like I hear and see myself, like reactions I have with my husband sometimes. And I'm like, why do I have like, I feel like insecurities or something, it's all things I feel like from the past that clearly can be worked through. But it's more challenging for me to see that, recognize it, and like take it a different direction, the direction I want it to go. It's very challenging for me to take my thoughts in the direction I want them to go with my husband. I feel like I get stuck and I'm like, he's wrong. Like he was being a jerk or whatever stupid thing,
Right.
talking about like my things, but still it's
Right.
crazy to see how I can do it so well at work. And at home, I'm like, why am I feeling like this?
Yeah. So like your work hat is like, I know what I'm doing. Like I've got this, right? It's like this completely different like person than when you're at home, where it's like more emotional, right? You're probably more emotionally charged, right? You've got that more personal aspect. I think you're probably making things that he says or does more about you, right? Whereas really, if we remove ourselves from the picture, it's like, well, why did he do that? It might not have anything to do with you,
No.
right? Which is, I think that we can easily do that at work, but at home, it's like there's a lot more emotions behind it. So for me, it's just been practicing that, like really being aware of my thoughts, seeing what they're creating for myself, right? Seeing like the path that I'm going down, because we get really good at doing things. And when we get really good at doing things, then we just do them even better, right? So if you're used to being like, oh gosh, he said this and that means this, right? And when you do that enough times, you're gonna go to that automatically and you're gonna be so good at it. But when you can stop and you're like, wait a minute, like let's just pretend that I was at work, right? Or put yourself in this different mindset, have this different thought about it, then it changes everything. But and also it's practice, right? I mean, lots of practice.
Yeah. I need practice.
We all do.
Thank you for helping me practice.
Do you want me to coach you on anything, or are you just me?
I don't want to take up everybody's time, but if you want an example that's not related to that, then I can give you one.
Yeah.
If anybody else wants to.
Or it can be related to that, whatever you want to do.
Well, I think I talked a little bit about this to you. So I recently graduated as a nurse practitioner, went to school, second bachelor's, master's, all that jazz. And my heart's not in it. I don't want to do it. And I feel this like, and I'm going to cry. I feel like shame or guilt or like failure because I don't want to do it.
Right. Yeah. So what's the thought that's creating? Let's just go to shame, right? What's the thought that's creating that feeling of shame for you? Just
that I am like, it's stupid when I say it out loud because it's like the shame is that like I can't do it or I'm not cut out for it, but it's really like I know I could do it and I could do it well. I just don't want to. Like I don't want to practice as an NP. Is that?
Yeah. Okay. Now, why is that a problem for you?
Because I feel like I've gone to school, like if I'm not utilizing this degree that I've put so many years and dollars invested into, then like, what am I going to do instead? You know?
Yeah. So your mind is like, I don't want to practice as an NP, but I don't know what I'm going to do anyways. I've put all this time to this. Now I'm going to go to this
So-
shameful place.
Yeah.
But do you really not know what you want to do instead?
I know. I do know. But it
Okay.
sounds silly too, you know?
Why does it sound silly?
Because I don't know, societal shit. I don't know.
Yeah, I was wondering if that's where this is coming from. I mean, you know what you want to do, right? But it's like there's something where you're thinking, I should want to do this, right? I should want to practice as an NP. And I think that's what's really giving you that shame. But why should you want to practice as a nurse practitioner?
I don't know, because it just makes the most financial sense right now. I don't know. I feel like I don't know why I should, because I have the degree.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it sounds stupid and I don't know.
There's some rule that someone told you that if you go to school for something, that's what you're supposed to work in, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's some rule written somewhere and
Yeah.
there's I have no idea.
Yeah.
It's telling you, right? Because you went to school, you should be now going down this path, right? Of practicing as an NP. And that thought is giving you that feeling of shame.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, how are you showing up for yourself when you feel shameful?
I don't know. I'm not really talking about it to anybody. I'm not.
Like the fact that you graduated?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I'm like, I mean, I shared with people and everybody else. And that's the other thing. I feel like everybody else is so excited and so proud. And I'm like, not thrilled in the least.
So yeah, so you're seeing everybody else who's probably just graduated or who just knows that you're graduated and it's like, oh, I'm supposed to be there too, right? So you're putting this pressure on yourself that you're supposed to be over here, but really you're here.
Mm-hmm. So the action or inaction I feel like I'm taking is I'm not actively applying for jobs.
Okay.
I don't know. I just feel like really not motivated to do any of that. And but I think I have been like working on what I do want to do and trying to figure out a way to be successful in that. But I don't know. I guess I'm struggling with like what my action or inaction is related to my feeling of shame related to that. I don't know.
Yeah. So let's go into that feeling for a minute, right? When you think, I don't want to practice as a nurse practitioner, and to really, I mean, just try on shame for a minute. Just breathe it in, take it in. When I feel shame, like, what am I doing? You told me that you're not talking about it. You're certainly not celebrating it.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you that you've been beating yourself up about it, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
you're not celebrating, you're not wanting to talk about it. Is there anything?
Yeah. I'm reading the other people's comments too. Yeah, I am definitely, so the action I'm taking, I feel like, yeah, is like dwelling on it, beating myself up, like you said, like I'm not seeing like all the positives. I feel like that a master's degree, which, you know, if anybody's done a master's, you know, it's just how much shit can you tolerate? It's not always about like how much learning happens, which is a lot. I hold a lot of knowledge, but also I like developed a lot of skills and adaptability and tolerance to a lot of BS. So, I mean, I guess that put that on my resume or sell that to myself. I don't know.
It sounds like you have an extensive toolbox now, right? Yeah.
But I'm not, I feel like when I'm like just thinking about like, oh, I just graduated, I'm not thinking those positive things. Like like I'm kind of selling myself short of like, just because I finished this degree and I'm not passionately seeking opportunities to work as an practice, like a clinical NP, then I'm, a failure or whatever. When I'm like, no, I freaking finished this hard ass degree, having a baby, moving cross country, stopping for, like all the things. And I need to tell myself that.
Yeah. So that's exactly right. Like you're not celebrating anything that you've done, really. Because you're just focused on, I don't want to practice it and I should. I want to practice as an NP and I should. Right. So it's like you're not even seeing those things like now, but it's like living in that place of like, man, look at all the things I just achieved. Even just the fact that you have this behind you, right? It's like just like again, like another tool in your toolbox. It's like it's okay if you don't want to practice as an NP, but it's like you're just seeing it as like this thing that I'm supposed to be doing. So you're not even able to celebrate it because you're so stuck in this thought and this feeling, right? This feeling of shame.
Yeah.
The result that you're creating for yourself, what do you think that you're creating?
What's the opposite of pride? I don't know. I need that wheel.
Oh yeah. I love that wheel.
So just kind of defeat. I don't know, not defeat, but like just kind of like, I don't know, I have like, thank you, Amber. I have all of these things that I am good at, that I developed over life and all, through my master's degree and all of that, and working as a nurse, that are transferable skills and don't have to be put to use as a nurse practitioner. But I feel like I'm just, so stuck on that.
Right. But when you're thinking, I don't want to practice as an NP, do you even see any of those things? Like, are you like able to go towards those things when you're?
No. So the opposite of proud is bitter. Yeah. That's me. Bitter, humiliated, I guess, kind of like.
I'm gonna give you a result, and any of my co-workers feel free to add. The result that I see that you're creating for yourself is that you're really just fighting with yourself, right? You're fighting with the reality that you don't want to be a nurse practitioner, but you're just believing that you should be there. But it's like this is just causing like this inner turmoil for yourself, right? So you're really fighting with the fact that, with the idea that you don't want to, but you should. So it's blocking you from moving forward with other things that you really want to do.
Yeah, Garrett, I thought I went there with about fear, because I'm like, maybe it's fear of incompetence or, not ready. But I did almost 700 hours of clinical practice, and there's healthcare in general as it is now is just not what I want to do. And I mean, I'm sure fear plays a factor in it, but also, I don't know. I just feel like looking at my life and my family life, and I just don't want to do it. I don't want to be part of it.
Yeah. So
perhaps in other circumstances or other settings, but my passion isn't there.
So why is that a problem for you though?
Because I have to pay the bills, Nikki.
Okay. Is that really your driving force?
Not mine, but we're a partnership here. Okay. So my husband's, although he's, he says whatever, do whatever you want, but
right.
I don't know.
Right. So you're still carrying around like some sort of like guilt or shame because you're thinking like, well, this is what I did. This is what I'm supposed to do.
He expects this of me or something, even though he's not, said that or whatever. But again, right. Oh my God, I'm a case, you guys. I'm sorry you're on my call.
Yeah, there isn't a rule that says you can't change your path. Exactly. I love that. Thank you. I mean, you are making this rule about yourself, right? For yourself. Like
Mhm.
this is truly just a rule that you've made for you. Hmm. I did this and I'm supposed to do this.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think, like you said, just owning it. I mean, just owning that, like, I graduated. There is benefit benefit of graduating and going through all of this, and my view of the world and everything, all the things that I have to offer. I benefited from doing the master's. It wasn't a waste of time. I don't have to follow the path that society tells me to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard, it's easy to say things out loud and like do that, but I think, like you said, it just takes a lot of practice and like affirmation of like repeating it until you freaking believe it. Because
Yeah. Because this is really well versed, right?
yeah,
I should want to be an
and
NP.
it's so well versed because there were multiple times in my master's program that I did not want to do it, but I felt like I couldn't quit because I was already in it. So yeah, that thought is there and has been there for a long, long time. So
So you're super good at it.
now that I'm finished, it was like totally anticlimactic because I'm like, I don't even care. I didn't want to do this anyway. But yeah, I just have to focus on that thought and find a better one.
What thought do you want to have? So you just graduated, right, with your NP. What thought do you want to have about it?
I can be successful doing whatever I put my mind to. I don't know. It sounds so cliche.
But I mean, but is it, right? I mean, right? Like that thought, I can do it. It sounds like, but it's like, no, like that is really like a super powerful thought.
Mm-hmm.
So when you think I can do whatever I put my mind to, what feeling does that create for you?
Excitement.
Ooh.
Pride. Empowerment. I feel like, I don't know.
Yeah. So much better. Because I think when you're in that, well, let's go there. When you're in that place, when you're feeling empowered and prideful and excited, like what are you doing then?
I'm like actively seeking out opportunities or like finding like I'm motivated. I feel like I'm more motivated to do things.
Right. It's kind of like lighting that fire under you, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're kind of like a little bit, maybe, are you more open to like
anything?
getting creative?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're open, you're kind of, are you like looking for different ways to make money? Is that what you mean by?
Yeah. So like I have an active wear business that I am very passionate about health and exercise, and I love this activewear that I use and promote, and I just feel like that compared to my prestigious degree in nurse practitioner is kind of like a letdown, or like not as honorable, or what, shit that it's like in my head. Obviously, it's not any different. I feel I still, in my activewear business, Amber's here, she's doing it with me, and I still feel like I have the opportunity to do what I love and feel passionate about, which is empower women, encourage women, cheer them on, encourage them in their health and fitness journey, and like do all of that through this activewear business. But at the end of the day, I'm like, I tell myself, it's just clothes. Like, Caitlin, you're going to sell clothes, and like you have this degree in, medical professional degree that, you could be saving lives or something. But
I'm going to
It's
stop you.
BS.
It is BS. Because, well, I just want you to notice the story that you're telling yourself about this activewear business, right?
Mhm.
You're like, it's less
Mhm.
prestigious. It's a letdown, right? It's like, it's
Mhm.
none of these things, but it's like what you really are enjoying doing. So like,
Mhm.
why are you telling yourself those things? You're choosing to tell yourself those things, right? You're comparing it, right? NP, activewear, right? But really you're talking about how much you love the health and the wellness and the active part of it. So, I mean, when you're blocking yourself with shame, like you're not seeing any benefit to doing that, the thing that you love, or somehow incorporating your NP role into that, right?
Mhm.
But if you can
Mhm.
get excited and empowered and prideful, it's like it's going to open up the doors to you to explore further. But as long as you keep telling yourself that this activewear role that you like, that you enjoy, is not enough in so many words,
Mhm.
this is going to be really hard for you to get there. So that's like that choosing where you want to be, where you want to go. Oh, you light up when you talk about your business. Yes, I love that. That
Thank
that,
you.
that alone. Oh, Garrett, no problem. I'm gonna have a recording of this. I'll put it on our website. So
Oh God.
Leslie asked. Leslie said, or I said, you said you know what you want to do, so why not do that? I think we kind of
Mhm.
talked about that.
Yeah, I think it's just I clearly haven't bought into diving all in or I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, because you have that big story around how it's just not enough, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Activewear isn't enough, but I mean, like you said, I can do whatever I put my mind to. I mean, you just
Mhm.
graduated with your NP. It's like, girl, you got this. She's got to get after it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And look at that story, like notice it. Gosh, why am I telling myself all these things about activewear, about, this role that I'm currently in? Why am I doing that?
Yeah.
Like Sharon said, you light up when you talk about it. You can see that you get excited, you feel empowered, like you're like, yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think the result is that you're creating for yourself when you're thinking I can do whatever I put my mind to, and then you feel empowered, this excitement, right? This pride and this energy, right? And then
Mhm.
you're more open, you're exploring how to make more money or how to make money, right? In general.
Mhm.
So what do you think
Mhm.
the result that you're creating for yourself is?
The result is, I mean, I feel better. I feel like when I am in that mindset working with my activewear business, then I definitely see results. I mean, if I put the energy and effort into it, when I feel motivated, when I'm feeling positive, when I'm feeling, then I see results. I see results financially. I see and hear results from customers as far as, working on their fitness goals, which is not exactly what I'm doing, but I'm helping them, get there. And I don't know. I feel like, yeah, I feel a real sense of pride. I don't know so the result, I don't know. I feel like I struggle with the
It's okay. I'm going to give you that you're going to create whatever you want
mhm,
because you're fully
mhm,
capable, right? So really, when you think I can do whatever I put my mind to, and you feel all this energy, right? And then
mhm,
you're open, you're exploring, right? It's like everything is possible. It's like the result that you're going to give yourself is that you're going to create whatever you put your mind to. Does
mhm,
that
mhm,
make sense?
mhm.
I mean, you're super smart, you're very motivated, you've got this degree behind you. I mean, just an added bonus, right? It's like you've got so much going on for you. And you love what you're doing with the activewear. That's a huge
Yes.
piece of it.
Yes. Um yeah, thank you guys for your input too. I feel like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense because yeah, I mean,
Mm.
I don't know. I feel like as outsiders too, you can probably understand like the concept of like, okay, yeah, I graduated with this and I don't want to do it. And, you know, I feel like it's just a societal norm of like, this is a path you follow. Unless so, I feel like nowadays, as far as like going after you graduate high school, you go to college and that, you know, like says who, you know? So
Yeah.
yeah, getting out of my own head, recognizing it. And yes, this is, you know, maybe I had to go through this path to get where I'm going.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think helping just focusing, like you said, just recognizing my thoughts about it, realizing those shitty thoughts are not getting me anywhere.
Right.
But recognizing it and
yeah. Seeing what it's creating, right? And it's ultimately like, do I want that in my life?
mhm,
Probably not,
mhm,
right? Because it's kind of keeping you stagnant and feeling terrible. So it's like
mhm.
to get here, I think, you know, processing that shame, you know, allowing it to be there, just being like, all right, this is what it is. But it's like, how do I really want to feel? And going here and just practicing this thought over and over again all the time, like throughout the day. That's what I do. I walk around, I'm like, I can do whatever I want to do. You know, it's like I just think it like when I'm in the shower, like when I'm going for a run, like whatever. It's like, and then that's gonna eventually create this for you. It's gonna get your mind rolling because you're excited, you're empowered, you're prideful.
Mm,
Go into that place. Your comments are
good.
great, guys.
Yes, thank you.
You're ahead of the game knowing what you want to do. We've all been there. This is great. There's enormous value in learning what you don't want to do in life. Yeah, you know, it's funny, Adam, I was thinking that same thing. It's like, okay, you've done this, you know exactly what you don't want to do. How amazing is that? That's such a great little
Mhm.
nugget of information. It's not wasted time. Yeah. Amber, I love that you keep saying, you know, the affirmations. I love that. I think those are definitely, you know, the things that she needs to be, things that Caitlin could practice from, right? Those thoughts
Yeah.
that are going to drive you to this feeling that you want to get you to these actions and then that result that you want.
Yes.
It's like really identifying like what thought you want to keep telling yourself to create the feeling that you want to get you here.
Yeah.
I can do whatever I want, man. That thought is like so open and like empowering and just alive. I love it. All right, everyone.
Thank you, Nikki.
You're welcome. You're able to put your heart into it and go all in. That's the result that Leslie just gave you. I love it.
Oh,
Thank
good. Yeah.
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 Like your mind
Yeah.
can give you all this negative crap, right? It's like, all right, I hear you. But this is what I
Yeah.
want. This is what I'm going to get after.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like that's also like holding me back because I'm thinking those still in the back of my head that even when I'm engaged in my business that I do feel passionately about, I'm like selling myself short. It's not going to really happen, or, you know, it's never going to produce what I would make as an NP or whatever. So then I just kind of half acid or not full
Right.
but on days that I do feel like, whoa, yes, I love this. This is what I want to do. I can see the results.
Yeah, right. But I mean, also fortune telling, right? Can you really tell the
Mhm.
future? Do you really know you can't make as much money doing
No,
this as
I
you can as
don't.
an NP? Probably not.
Nope. I don't know that.
Yeah. Wanted to squash that thought. All right, you guys, use your thoughts to create the emotions that you want to feel, to create the life that you want. Thank you so much for being here. This is awesome. We'll be doing monthly classes, so I'll keep you all posted.
Thank you, Nikki. It was
Bye.
great.
Thanks, Nikki.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.